Hello, welcome to another one of my devlogs. I'm going to be going over what I've been doing for the past 2-ish months. Let's get into it. One of the first things I'm going to show is the new UI. I have changed all of the UI elements to use a shader instead of having textures for the buttons. I really like the shader instead of the textures. I think they look really good. They also change with what's behind it, which is really nice. If I go into one of my current saves here, we can see things that I have been working on. This is one of the new areas I have added. It is the gas station. I am going to go into a new save though. So let me exit my stew. You can see that I have changed the stew quite a lot, but let me exit and go to a new save, show you that from the beginning. Okay, now we're in a new save. You can see that when you start a new game, your stew starts disabled. You have to find a code to restart it. So, there's nothing you can really do with your stew. You cannot go up or down. You have to go find your code and enter it. So let me go do that. You start off in an area that I still don't think is 100% user-friendly yet. I do really like the area, but I'm thinking I want the first area you go into to be even more linear than this. Possibly have a bit more of a tutorial feel to the first area. But I really like this area. This concept has come from a dream that I've had before, where I was flying through this sunken city, old abandoned city of skyscrapers that was underwater, and I was flying on a giant paper airplane. Pretty liminal, pretty cool. That dream inspired a lot of things. So I very much adapted this level to kind of be inspired from that dream. So you can see something that I'm very proud of. I actually wrote this shader on my own. I'm starting to get better with shader code. Going over shaders and learning from the Godot resources and just looking up so many different shaders. I love shaders. They're difficult, but they're really cool. I really enjoy the tree that I worked on. You'll see how the light will shift. The dappling that comes from the shadows from the tree is just, it's gorgeous. I'm really proud of my tree. It's really great. There's also leaf particles that come off the tree. I think that's really pretty. And so, in this first area, you have to kind of explore and find how to get back to your elevator to re-enable it. You can see that when I first came through the area, this plasma door, I like this better than the mechanical ones I had before. This plasma door, it shut behind me, so I have to go find a way back into my stew. My elevator. And there's a greenhouse here. Looks like some dead plants and some glowing grass and stuff. Some stuff over there. So I can pull off these wood planks, throw them, get them out of the way, and then I can open the door. And there's stuff here. I'm going to read the note. It says, take the tablet and the camera. The tablet lets you take inventory of the things you have. It also tells you what you can make out of the things you have. As for the camera, some places can only be accessed by training their AI systems. They want photos. Try not to waste valuable film. Use the orb to power the door and get back to the elevator. The code to restart your elevator is 4517. So, I'm still working on this, but I do want certain areas of the game to be locked behind a code. When you enter into a new level, maybe your elevator will malfunction, and you'll have to go find a code to restart it. And this area gives you your first code. It also tells you to collect this tablet. So currently right now, I'm pressing the escape button. You cannot open your inventory yet. When I collect this, I'll be able to. This is my new inventory system, or menu system. It first opens up into the notes menu. You see it changed there. It's kind of a bug. I just didn't change that case when you first open it. But new inventory system. I like this system so much better. It also looks like the thing you just collected, so it feels a bit more diegetic. It's not completely, but I like it. So you can read the notes that you have. You can go through your inventory. You have a new crafting menu, so you can craft things out of the things you have. I'm still working on the stats. I haven't added enough stats that I want to actually work on that system yet. I'm still working on it. Also haven't added things to eat and so on, so I haven't worked on that yet, but I will soon. Anyway, so I've done that. I can collect this stuff. You can also see that I have a shadow. For some reason though, I am having a hard time getting the shadow to work with the sun for some reason. With the player. It should not be the case. It'll definitely be fixed. Anyway, I got my camera. I can take my camera with me. Take the orb. And then I'll take my flashlight. And I'm gonna go out of this area. This area is a place where you can plant things. Pretty cool. So I'm gonna take my orb. You can see the light dappling I was talking about. I think that's just so beautiful. It's definitely video gamey, but it feels very realistic. It's something I love about trees and walking in an area with a lot of them. The dappling of the light coming through them is just so beautiful. I'm really glad I could emulate that in my game. In the area where that gas station was, I'm gonna go back to that next, and we can see more of that happening. It's very beautiful. Very proud of that. I don't know how I feel about the that solid part. I might change that. Also, I think the normals are a bit strange when you look at it from certain angles, but that's okay. So I can open the stew. I can reactivate that door, and I can go through. Okay. So now I got it. It was like 4, 5, 1, 7. That reactivates my stew. And you can see before I had to press WASD to move my mouse cursor, but now it's sort of relative to where you're working. It's not exactly, right? Like I had a hard time getting this to work. It's not perfect, but I got it working. And eventually I'll get it to be more how I want, but I got it working for now. So you can control the mouse based on where you're looking instead. And like clicking and stuff. I think this is so much better than how it was before. Way more user-friendly, because you can just like, before it would lock you into where you were standing, and you wouldn't know if you were locked to it, and it wasn't a good system. But I've made the system better. And you can see that there's some programs here. And you can open the programs. I've only worked on this one so far, but I have a program. And this one's the console. It's been very useful for me so far. You can do a bunch of things. I can type in help, and it can tell me things that I can do. There are more commands than that, but they're secret commands, and I'll show you later. But I'm going to go to the next level next. Alright, so this is the gas station level. There's like boarded up stuff. sodas, some things I've been working on. I think the sodas are quite funny. This one is called I Can't Believe It's Not Milk. We all know I can't believe it's not butter, but I can't believe it's not milk. It just feels very gross. But I love it. Also, I'm working on this shader. I have adapted it from one I found online, and I changed it a lot, fixed it to work with certain things, but still, it's not the best. I definitely need to either fix it, make it more how I want, or just change it completely. Maybe adapt it with other examples I've found, but I don't know. I like it. I think it's good. I like how it's kind of like Half-Life Alyx, where you can like tip it over, you can shake it. It doesn't have sounds yet. I'll add that in the future, I guess, but yeah. A bottle of liquid. Pretty cool. And there's this one over here. It's called Shumber Soda. Anyway, let me go through here. Pull off the planks from the wall. I can open this door. I'm definitely gonna change the sound for that one. I just used the same script as the last door. Anyway, here's the trees. I love this area. It's the gas station, passing gas. I thought this was an original idea, but apparently the name Passin' Gas for a gas station was used in both Fortnite and 7 Days to Die. It's pretty interesting. I didn't know that before making the Passin' Gas, but then while I was making it, I looked it up. I was like, oh, okay. I might keep it. I might rename it. I don't know. I think it's funny. Passing gas. Anyway, so yeah, this is the level. See, the environment's changing. Stars are coming out. There'll also be fireflies here as well. Kind of waiting for them to happen. You can pick up the leaves, and you can throw them, and then they turn back into a pile. I'm still working on them. The flashing you're seeing there is because I haven't. I can fix that. But yeah, I don't know. I'm still working on this system. I'm trying to make it so that this gravity and like piling system could work for other things as well. I think I want like piles of trash and stuff that you could like recycle for other things. I like this. The hitbox is kind of cursed. It's like smaller than the actual thing, so you kind of have to like go to the exact middle of it. But the reason it's that way is because anytime I would like get it into a corner, it would like mess up and clip through the level if I didn't do it that way. I was having a hard time getting this to not be lost, because that's an important thing for me, and I don't want things to get lost. So yeah, I like it. It definitely could be better though. Some fireflies. This area needs ambient sounds. Both of these areas need ambient sounds. They feel empty. I mean, it's a liminal space, but it needs some sound. Definitely. Like when it's nighttime, it needs some like crickets and some like wind blowing. Definitely make this environment feel a lot better. I like the grass that I've made. It has an alpha cutoff threshold, so if I'm like far enough away, you can't see the grass. It's not multi-meshed either. I found that multi-mesh, it didn't work the way I wanted. I probably could have made multi-mesh work the way I wanted, but with this shader I wrote, I didn't like using it with multi-mesh. It didn't look proper when one object was in front of another, it would look really strange. It looks much better if I make the mesh my own in Blender, and like populate it with the geometry nodes, because then I can get the face, like how it's facing, to be more random in the way that I want it to, not like always face the direction it's placed on the normal, because that doesn't always look correct. Things want to grow upwards and not towards the side. That's why I've changed it to be that way, instead of using the multi-mesh with the populate feature. I like it. I think this grass is good. It's not too performance heavy. I haven't noticed it being too performance heavy. I like it. You can see it kind of popping in there as well. I really like the shader. This is the same shader I used for the glowing grass as well. I changed the glowing grass to use a shader. I didn't mention that. Yeah, it just doesn't use an emission. Some next things, I'm going to show off the player model I've made. Easiest way for me to show you that right now is just to take a selfie. So, okay. I need sounds for that camera. It doesn't feel as juicy. Look at that. You have a player model. What I want to do for my player model is definitely to fix the shadows. But like, I want you to be able to see your player. Something that I've been thinking of is having like mirrors or something, where you have I don't think that I could get it to work well with a reflective material. Like, you wouldn't be able to have it be perfectly reflective with a material that's not going to look the best. So I was thinking I could have it be actually something similar to this, where you have a camera and you have it like facing towards the player, and you can just have it face where the mirror is facing, and then you'd be able to see what the mirror sees. Probably even flip it so it's mirrored. But to make that performant, I need to make sure that I like disable the view layer in the camera if you're far enough away. That's definitely something I'm going to add here. This area is meant to, it's like you enter through the bathrooms that are in this gas station. And there's supposed to be like a bathroom here. Imagine that there's mirrors on the wall. Okay, so next thing I want to show is my stew, the console in the stew. So of course I have help clear and version. If you type version, you get the installed version. If you type clear, it clears the console. Let's see, what else can I do? You can do spawn. So if I do spawn and then, let's see, bulb, you get a bulb, one of the things you can grow. And then, let's see, something I can craft is if I spawn a bulb and some, is that, yeah. Some scrap metals. Spawn 4. Cool. So I have 4 scrap metals. I really like this model. I just made this today. I really like it. I think it is good. I possibly might have a similar thing with the scrap metals as these, because these are the same type of pickupable, an object that you can pick up and do things with. It's just that they have their data set when they are first created, and then that data is saved so that it will keep using that data when it spawns in again. So when you like load into this game or this level again, this soda will always be the sunburst soda. I could do that with this. Let's see. If you get a scrap metal and a flashlight, you can craft. So you get some crafting here. The crafting's pretty simple. It just takes from a crafting recipes dictionary that it loads from a JSON file in your base recipes .txt, just in the game files, and also your user data. So you can easily add recipes with the add recipe command. So if I type help and then it'll say what you can do with add recipe. So it adds a new crafting recipe to the user data, and the arguments are what it can make, the mat1, the count, the mat2, the count. You can also do mat3. Pretty cool. It's very useful that I can use this command to make things, because it's way faster than writing out the JSON myself. I can just go into the game, type it in, type in a bunch of things I want to make, and then it will just be there in the user data. And then I can copy that over to my base recipes. Why I have the user data makes it easy to mod. If you don't like the game, if you want something to be easier to craft, you just type it in. You can make it easier to craft. I think having more things be data driven is really cool. I like that. It's the same as I'm going to have building in this game. So you need to be able to add new building things easily. You can craft. It takes the thing out of your inventory and it spawns it in front of you. Pretty cool. I made a flashlight. You can also make other things. So let me take this off, grab these planks, grab some scrap metals. My backpack is full. These things are heavy. I can build a build hammer. So this is the thing I'm going to use for the building mechanic. You're going to need a object that you hold, the build hammer, and when you hold this, it's going to show a similar menu to the crafting, except it's going to be like a hotbar menu, or possibly you scroll, since when you scroll with a tool, it doesn't rotate it. And when you scroll with the tool, it'll go over the possible things you can craft. And then when you use the tool over a place that you can place things on, it will place the thing that you wanted to place. I want this for things like maybe like a campfire or something, or like a recycler unit, or a chest that you can put things into, or like a mortar and pestle to, break things down into like finer particles to then craft into other things. That would be really cool. I really want a building system. I think it would really synergize with the crafting system. I mean, I just made it so you can craft the thing to build the thing, and then you could craft more things to build more complex things. I'm definitely going to add more to this level. I don't feel like there's enough here in this level. I want to add more like gas station things. Like there's definitely gonna be like a lot of food. Old food, like packaged food. It's been here for a while. And then like some like seed packets. Like, you know how there's always sunflower seeds in a gas station. You gotta have some sunflower seeds. But then maybe you can also plant them. It's like something you could eat and plant. I might change this as well, but I like the sign and the material. I feel like it's a bit hard to read, but I like it. I might change it. It was really hard to make this. Trying to make a complex sign that looks like it's been, like it's a neon light, kind of difficult. I had a really hard time modeling that. I'll probably do better next time because I have more practice with it now, but modeling a neon sign is difficult because I was trying to emulate that feeling of it continuing on, almost like cursive. It was difficult to get that kind of natural shape and to make it low poly, because I generated a base mesh out of geometry nodes and a grease pencil. So I drew in the passing gas on my tablet and I turned that into geometry, but that was like a really high resolution geometry, not good for a video game. So I had to then remesh that myself. That was hell, but I did it. And we got the passing gas. We love passing gas. I really love this area. Sometimes I just stare at this every once in a while. I'm just like, oh my god, that's beautiful. Genuinely in love with the look of that. There's of course lots of things I could do to make this better, but right now I got something I'm really proud of. Like, that's cool. That's cool looking. I got light dappling from the trees. I got the leaves waving in the wind ever so slightly. So something in this level that I have added recently is these windows. If you look up there, you can't see it because the window ain't turned on, but these ones are. You can see they have perspective. There's like rooms behind the window. Those rooms don't exist. I did a similar projection mapping technique that other games have done. I think like Spider-Man, one of the Spider-Man games did it. There's tons of games that have done this technique. And of course there's resources online that I found to make this easier for myself. But I really like the effect. I think it's so cool having all these rooms, and they're randomized too. So when you load into a level, the rooms are going to be randomized, like every time you load into a level, not just when you first load into the game, because I didn't want to save all that data for all the different windows. It's really cool. I like it. I like the perspective on them, like being able to like move and see the perspective change. It works really great for windows that are far away, especially since you don't have to have that extra geometry on the inside to make it look that way. It's really cool. Because like if I wanted to do that and have the perspective, I believe I would have to cut out the mesh on the buildings, and then that would add extra geometry to the buildings. So that is way more performant instead of having all that extra geometry, because those are very flat faces. This is very few vertices for these buildings. I like it. Also, I changed the water shader that I've been using. I didn't like the previous one so much because it didn't have depth to it. There was no depth fog. It didn't really look correct, so I changed it with this one. You can see I didn't really increase the mesh that it's on. It's not a very large mesh. I was thinking that there would be more background elements for this level. I'm still working on it. That would kind of hide that area, as well as the sun and moon. It's much easier to see the windows at night. You can see them randomly turn on and off as if people are in there, but there aren't. I think it's a really cool effect at night. I'm going to spawn in some seeds. To make my planting system more performant, you're going to see this in a moment, I changed it so they work on a tick system. So instead of being updated every frame, which is, you know, not great when you have possibly hundreds of things you've planted, not a very good idea to be updating hundreds of things every frame. Not good on your CPU. And that's not something I can take over to the GPU, because that's like game calculation stuff. It doesn't like to be put over to the GPU. It's not something I can do. What I did do is I changed it so it's on a tick system instead. So if I go plant these things, we can see that. But yeah, so I'm gonna wait a little while and I'm gonna come back when these are grown. Just a bit more so you can see that tick system in action. But you can see this, this one is ticking up every once in a while. That's how that works. I think you've seen it. I don't need to I don't need to come back with that. Yeah, they're growing. Something I do want to show though, when they're fully grown, is the harvesting and stuff, but I don't need to do that. I don't need to wait yet. I can show something before then. If we go to our stew, we type in debug, debug is now true. I'm gonna keep this command in the game. It's gonna be a secret command. You don't know it exists unless you type it in. But if something wrong happens with someone's game and I want an easy way to identify that, I could be like, hey, type in debug in your stew and send me a photo of what it says on the object, and we can figure that out. I think that would be really nice. Be helpful. And it's also helpful for me because I can easily type in debug, see what's going on, and then, you know, want to see things normally, I can go type it back, debug. Now it's off. I also want this information to be shown above pickupables as well. I want this information on anything that can show me information about an object. So I can easily go debug certain things, and I don't need to have my console printout for a ton of things whenever I need to debug something. I think this command is honestly essential for making things just function well. And being able to, not function well, but for me being able to make things fast and being able to like properly debug things very well. It's just having this information. It's very nice. Also, before, when I would have to enable this debug information, I didn't have a simple command for it just to enable it while in the game. So I'd have to close out my game, reload into the level with the debug information enabled, just like in the script. Not the best way to do it. Definitely not. This way is probably one of the best ways to do it. I can't think of a better way to do it than just having a command in the game that you can activate that lets you see this information. It's very useful. You can see that all the plants, they have like a progress meter. They have a water amount. The plants can be watered. I think you've seen that before in my previous videos. Like what current model they have. Man, I really like this grass. I really like the emission I think it's so cool. It just uses a noise texture like I did before when it wasn't a shader. And it uses the world position to update the waving, so that waving from one plant looks similar to the other. And like wind is blowing through. I don't know if it makes too much sense to have wind blowing in the greenhouse, but maybe I'll add like an AC system on the side or something that keeps air circulating through here. Maybe that's why the plants are blowing. And for certain things, I actually don't want them to have the plant shader. I found that these looked very strange, especially at small scales if I had the plant shader. I think if I were to use the shader, then I would have to be scaling down the waviness based on the scale of the model. But then if I were to do that, then I would have to duplicate the shader, make it a per instance, so that the shader parameters aren't shared for every plant, because then if one plant updated those parameters, it would update for all of them. And if I have a ton of different materials, that's going to cost more on the GPU. So I think having it rotate just based on a wind texture, like it's just a noise texture, and having it rotate for certain plants is way better. I possibly could have a stage in the model where it would then use a wavy, my wavy shader, maybe for a really tall tree that produces fruit that you can grow, possibly. But I don't know about that. I think having it be like this is fine. That's how these were before, and I think having it like this is actually a good compromise, having them wave like this, because then it's taking less time on the GPU. I love the sunrise. It's so pretty. Look at that. Just the light. Also, I had a bug where it wouldn't always close out my menu. Probably a kind of stupid thing on my part, but if you have your unhandled input with your mouse, don't put key press things in your unhandled input with your mouse, or else you're going to have issues with it not accepting input sometimes. Separate that into unhandled key input. Oh, something for accessibility I definitely need to do for accessibility is having the ability to change key bindings, and especially key bindings to controller keybinds. Because then if someone wants to play my game and they have a system for playing games for their disability, I know a lot of people, they'll change just key bindings in a game. That's a very easy way to have games be accessible to people. So being able to change it to a controller keybind is definitely needed. I already have controller support for most of my game. I need to keep that in mind when I add things, is controller support and keybinds, because that makes it accessible to a lot more people. Also, I fixed my plants. They don't use their scale is way better. They went from their scale from where they were at to their max progress, and then dividing that and updating their scale, but now it does it from their current progress to their ripeness. So once they have reached a ripe state, they will then not grow anymore. I had it so that the progress was divided by the max, and that would make it so it would grow past its ripeness, and then it would make the model look smaller than it should. Because see, now when it changes, it actually looks proper. It kind of snaps and changes instantly, but it looks proper. Especially the harvesting, because then now this is about just as large as that. I think it's like the same size, so that's good. I like these bulbs. I think they're neat. That's how you make the flashlight as well. I think that's cool. Since the flashlight doesn't have batteries, you plant a magical seed into the ground and you make a bulb that seems to just last forever. And so you put that into a bunch of scrap metal, and then you can, have a flashlight that kind of just lasts forever. I think that's neat. Oh, you can also see when I loaded into this level, remember when I first loaded into it, the door shut behind me. The reason it doesn't shut behind me now is because, well, it has the door powered that activates it, but then also it's shut behind me because there's an area here. I have an area activator thing that activates the system of buttons and wires and things to then close the door behind you once you enter this area. But that won't happen again because this area that's here doesn't activate again. Once it's activated, it saves its activation state. Dang, I really like these plants. I think they're so cool. They feel very magical, like not of this world. Same as the sky. I like that certain things are sort of like our world, but not exactly like our world. Like, you got these trees. Those are very our world trees, right? But then you got this stuff, which is like a cross between a plant and a light bulb. Some grass that's glowing. Like, what's that? I definitely want some more ideas for my plants. Some things I was thinking about was like eye corn, some eyes on the cob. You got like maybe like a stalk of corn that grows a cob full of eyes that are like looking all in different directions. Or possibly maybe like you can grow film roll. Maybe like instead of having a crafting recipe, there's like a seed that you can create that then you plant to make more film roll. And it's like a weird cross between like film and a plant. Like the leaves are made of film or something. I don't know. I want more magical type plants. If you have an idea for a plant and you're watching this video, let me know any ideas you have for plants. I would love to hear what kind of mystical plants you think I should add. Plants based on real life, but a strange take on them, or just cool plants in general that are neat for inspiration. I would love to hear your ideas. I love asking people what kind of plants they think they would make, because also it's a cool way to get to know someone a bit more. What kind of plant they would make if they could make a plant, or any kind of plant. Because like sometimes like my mom, she said she would make a plant that would make money. It would just make money. Don't know how that would work, how the money would be tracked or anything. Like, that's definitely counterfeit. That's just counterfeit with extra steps. My mom also said that she would make a plant that makes diamond dust. If you think about that for 2 seconds, that would kill you. You would inhale that and that would kill you. Don't do that. Don't make a plant that creates diamond dust in your lungs. That would hurt. I don't know. I think that you'll learn a lot from someone based on like their ideas and what they would like, what they make, and it's a good question to ask people because you get to learn a bit about them and you get a fun idea out of it. You get to like bounce that idea off them and hear what, like, you know, get some inspiration. It's really fun. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. What other ideas did I hear? From a friend, there was an idea to make like a moon plant that has like the fruit of the moon. The fruit of the moon. The moon. I'm having strong. Plant creates fruit that looks like moon. Did it. Good job. And if you it would have like purple leaves and stuff. I think that'd be really cool. I think that's a good idea. There's all sorts of stuff I want to do and add. And I want to make more plants. And that's one of them. That's going to be it for today's video. Yeah, let me know plant suggestions in the comments, level design ideas. I'm thinking about adding like a pool rooms type area next. Something I want to work on. But yeah, it's gonna be it. See ya. Hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know what other types of stuff you'd like to see about my game. If you'd like to see tutorials about my tree, on how to make a tree like this. I'm thinking about just making a video like that. I think that'd be cool. Or more videos on tutorials on how I do things. Maybe less yappy and more thought out than my last 2-hour-long video. But yeah. Alright, that's gonna be it. See ya.